Hi everyone! Welcome back to a new episode from the series The Reason I Jump. In this live, we will talk about how autistic people experience the world through their senses. What is different in their senses? What is different the way how they experience the world, how they sense the world around them? And I couldn't do this by myself, so luckily I've got Jen here from Autism 360. And of course, we're going to have our wonderful guests. I can see already lots of people coming on. Hello.
Hey.
Whoa.
Hi.
Hi. Look at me. Looking all different. Yay. Hi, Jen. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Oh, busy, but excited about today's live. Live, even. Let's see. Hi, Vidya. Oh, there's so many people that are already joining. Hi, Sarah.
Nice to see
Whoa, let's see.
everybody. Oh,
I'm waiting to see if our guests are in here because we couldn't do that without them and without you. Hi, the autistic phoenix. Who else is in their way? Hi, Mandy. I'm just seeing you now. Hi, Lynn from Emotions Learning Content. Whoa. Uh, okay.
hi, everybody. Autism Family Story. Hi.
Yes, we're waiting for you to come live with us. Thank you for coming to watch us today. Oh, Dr. Al Robinson, it was you. You were tricking us with your new username. Okay. Right. So let's see if our guests are here. Ooh. And why don't you tell us a little bit about the chapter we're going to read, Jen, until I'm going to check what's going on with our guests.
Well, we're going to be reading a chapter from the book, The Reason I Jump, that I think most of you are familiar with, but it's written by a 13-year-old. He was 13 at the time, Naoki Higashida. And he wrote this book. He is nonverbal, autistic boy. And I see a hand wave. I don't see a face yet. But and he wrote this book with full of different chapters. Hi, Chad.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, nice to see you.
Nice to finally meet everybody.
I know. Me too. We're just doing a little introduction, and then we're waiting on Folashade, I guess, and we will get started with reading this chapter. I was just saying that the author wrote this book through typing, and it's been so insightful to hear his perspective and how he experiences his autism, and also then to share with our guests, their experiences. And it's just been fantastic. And our wonderful audience also chimes in a lot.
Hello.
There's Folashade.
Hi.
Hi. All right. So I just spoke about the chapter, the book, and I'll just tell you real quickly who I am, and then if everybody can introduce themselves, and then we will read the chapter. So I'm Jen Slayton. I'm a psychotherapist and an autism coach, and I worked with hundreds of different people on the autism spectrum, and I have this insatiable desire to learn more and more and more. So that's who I am. And Folashade, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, hi everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. So I am Folashade, and I am okay. Well, relating to why I am on this live, I am mom to two beautiful girls, and one of them is autistic. And so one of the things I have done, in addition to the so many things I do in my life, is to lend my voice to, creating awareness and acceptance within the African community because it is much needed. And so that's one of the things that I have been doing a lot ever since we got my daughter's diagnosis.
Thank you. Thank you. Chad, how about you? Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, everybody. Of course, my name is Chad. I go by the name of King Jammer, representing Flow Royalty Crew, Mastermind Rockers. People also know me as Dr. Weisman. I host a show called QSTV. And yes, I'm on the spectrum. I dance. I'm a host. I've been this dance pretty much. It's helped me express myself in ways that words cannot really fully encapsulate. You know, I'm a little nervous here because it's my first time really talking about autism on Instagram Live. So, yeah, it's kind of like it's a bit of I'm extremely nervous. Don't mind me, okay? I'm
It's
extremely nervous,
okay.
but um, but yeah, I'm definitely on the spectrum. I found the support group on Clubhouse, and it's been helping me to express a lot of things that I never thought I'd be able to express and people would be able to understand it, you know? So yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. My condolences to Helen. It's a very tough pain to endure when you lose a parent, especially a father
Hmm.
or mother. It's really a tough thing. So, sending love, condolences, some healing vibes to her. You know what I mean? Much love.
Oh, thank you so much, Chad, and thank you for your courage to be here. And we met on Clubhouse, and you just have had an amazing impact on people by sharing so honestly and vulnerably, and to take this risk to do on Instagram. I feel proud of you.
Thank you.
And you guys have to check out his Instagram page because he's got amazing dances, and
Yo,
it's really fun to see you. So
25 days
Bella,
left,
tell us
yo.
pardon?
Sorry. 25 days.
Good.
It's gonna be 25 days left, and after today it'll be 24.
Because you're doing
Yes.
a how many day challenge was it?
365 days
And you do a
Wow.
dance every day, different dance,
every day.
yeah.
Every
Yeah.
well, mainly breaking.
Amazing.
That's what I do. Yes, yes.
All right. Thank you. All right,
Yes, and I
Bella.
think it is good to meet, to get to see Chad because, he's been in our rooms on Clubhouse. So hi, Chad. It really is good to get to meet you or to get
Yes.
to see you.
It's a pleasure to meet you as well, and to see you all. To see you as well.
I
It's a
know.
pleasure. It's an honor.
Same to you, Folashade. We've known each other now, I guess, going on a year, and we haven't had a face-to-face conversation.
No,
So,
no, we haven't.
uh, hi, Bella. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi. I also want to send Helen my deepest condolences for losing her dad tonight. She's one of
Oh,
my friends, and
Oh,
she's coming here to support us every Wednesday, and I think she's a bit
oh,
heartbroken now. Um, yeah,
so,
I'm Bella. I work with autistic children. I help them express themselves through music. I help them learn different social skills, practice them mostly in a safe space in during my sessions in my studio or online. And overall, I just help with their well-being, the quality of their well-being through music, through expressing themselves, playing different musical instruments. That's me.
Thank you. And Helen too. I'm sorry I didn't see the message, so I send my condolences as well.
Yeah,
It's really hard.
me too. It must be. Hmm.
Yes. All right. Well, what I'd like to do now is read this chapter, and then we'll kind of discuss it from your experiences and, Flashy, I know you'll share about your daughter. So this chapter says, why do you do things the rest of us don't? Do your senses work differently in some way? And that's a question he poses for the autistic person. So why don't you wear shoes? Why will you only wear half-length sleeves? Why do you always shave off or pluck out your body hair? Doesn't it hurt? Every time us people with autism do something that other people wouldn't, it must make you wonder why. Do people with autism process different senses, or are those actions just give us some sort of kick? To my mind, both answers are barking up the wrong tree. The reason could be that we've gotten into such a state that if we don't do these actions, we'll go to pieces completely. If you talk about someone's senses working differently, it means that the person's nervous system is somehow malfunctioning. But I believe that in our case, there's nothing wrong with us at a nerve level. Instead, it's actually our emotions that trigger abnormal reactions. It's only natural for anyone stuck in a bad place to try to get out of it. And it's my own despair that causes me to misread the messages my senses are sending me. If all my attention gets focused on one area of my body, it's as if all of my body's energy is concentrated there too, which is when my senses all report that something in that area is going badly wrong. If a person without autism is going through a hard time, he or she can talk it over with someone or make a ruckus about it. But in our case, that's not an option. We can never make ourselves understood. Even when we're in the middle of a panic attack, people either don't get what's happening to us, or else they just tell us to stop crying. My guess is that the despair we're feeling has nowhere to go and fills up our entire bodies, making our senses more and more confused. So that's a lot. So again, this is his perspective as a 13-year-old. So it doesn't mean that this is true for everybody, but it's to me really interesting how he talks about trying to deal with emotion and how it's something that he's not been able to communicate. And I'm wondering if we could maybe go to Chad first. Do you resonate with any of that, or do you have experiences of your senses that has been hard for you to sort out?
Mm. So for me, whenever I'm going through a hard time, most of the time it's usually in words said. So the words usually hit me first. And then most of the time I find myself going to Google to find out what exactly does this mean? And then it's when I find out the meaning, that's when it actually sinks in. Because most of the time, sometimes it doesn't really hit me right away. And then like after that, when after it does hit and I actually understand what's been done or what's been said, that's when the initial hits. Um,
Mm.
when I was 13, I I wouldn't say that I didn't have control of my emotions. I was raised like with a whole bunch of disciplinary actions taken against me and all that. But um, what I if anything, the one thing I couldn't control was my anger. There was a lot of lashing out that I did over the years because of like how I was operating in the real world and then how I was operating at home, and it was a lot. It's a lot that I don't want to get into full details of, but what I could say was what I could say was the ways in which I reacted. I don't really think anybody really understood. I don't think maybe I didn't even understand, but I didn't understand how to articulate it. I think that's the piece that I'm trying to put to the
Mm-hmm.
puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing. So I can definitely understand, like as a 13, well, as somebody who was 13 once, I can definitely understand how difficult that might have been for the main character or the person in the chapter, main character of the book.
Yeah. Thank you, Chad. I'm sorry to hear about sounds like you were overly disciplined. Like,
I mean, there was a lot of things that I even had a reminder last night. Right now, I'm over here spinning around this AirPod case because I can't find my fidget spinner for whatever reason. But um but like there were a couple of stimming actions that I did when I was younger that my mother kind of disciplined me against doing. So I kind of got a reminder of that last night. And that was not nice. It wasn't nice, but I kind of stopped it. So it is what it is.
okay. Thank you for sharing that, Chad. How about
No
you,
problem.
Folashade? Do you resonate with some of this that Naoki was talking about, or other kind of sensory issues that your daughter has?
Yes, I do. And for instance, one of the things that she's always done is working on her toes. And, it took a while to, at first, what happened was it was, first of all, more of a worry, like, okay, what can we do to help her to stop working on her toes rather than reprimanding her for working on her toes? So it was from that angle of, okay, what can we do to correct this? But, with knowledge then comes better understanding of why she works on her toes. So then understanding that it is a sensory thing for her, and what we've then done is that now that she's older, it's easier because sometimes when she gets carried away and she's walking, and sometimes she even runs on her toes. So we then try to tell her that, okay, you can put your feet flat on the floor when you walk or run so you don't trip or something. And it really helps now that she's older. It's easy to just remind her to walk, with her feet flat on the floor. And of course, she would correct it, and then after a few minutes, she's back on her toes. But I think that for now, it isn't so much of an issue I because as she grows older, it adjusts really naturally. So we aren't doing anything to try to stop her from doing that, except to remind her that it's okay to walk on her toes. Then there's so many other things. And I think for a child that doesn't have so many, well, she has many words now, but when she was younger and she didn't have so many words, it was harder because at that time, also having to do with what's it called now, processing information was harder. So there was that gap where she didn't understand a lot of things that we were trying to tell her. And then she also had the difficulty of trying to get us to understand her needs. So I think those were the most difficult times that we had because there was that huge gap of us trying to communicate and then she also trying to communicate. So then she would experience a lot of meltdown because she was having a really difficult time to tell us what her needs were. And what we've just learned to do is validate her feelings. So when she's having the meltdown, rather than tell her stop crying, we try to understand, okay, why is she crying? You understand? So it's two things. The situation, is it easy to tell why she is crying in that circumstance? If the answer is yes, then we address the situation. But if it is that we can't tell why she's crying, because I've learned that sometimes if she's crying this evening now, it might be because of something that happened in the morning that she didn't express her emotions about, or even something that happened yesterday or even last week. So, because I now understand that. And if it is in a circumstance where she's expressing an emotion that doesn't readily fit into the circumstance at that time, I then try to tell to get her to tell me, okay, why are you crying? Is this something you can talk about? Because now she's able to express herself with phrases, so it helps. And of course, she also has a communication, what's it called now, folder that she hardly uses now, though. But so with all the communication tools that we have, somehow we are able to get her to express her feelings to us. Well, I mean, it isn't 100% yet because she's still young, but at least it's a lot better than it used to be.
How old is your daughter again, Flushy?
She's 7 years old.
She's 7. Okay,
Mm.
great. So have you guys, like Chad, have you experienced or Folashade, with your daughter, like a sensory experience that seems, like it could be over the top or overreacting or something that's upsetting, like a sound or, um, you know, food, something with food or any kind of sensory overreaction? Have either of you had
Um,
that?
well,
Go ahead, Chad.
most of the lately for me, what I've been experiencing is being inside of a place where there's a lot of people and seeing them move too much, seeing a lot of movement happening is like it's kind of like um it is kind of upsetting. It's not
Mm-hmm.
even that. It's not that I don't want them to stop. It's not that I don't want them to move. It's just that I don't think I want to be in a place where there's so much people, where there's constant movement to the point where I can't really concentrate. The only sensory experiences that I've had were pretty much like the the scratching of chalk on a keyboard on a board,
Yeah.
and um trying to eat fish, but the bones would be pricking me. That that's another thing.
I'm
Um,
sorry, what would be pricking you?
the bones of the fish would prick me whenever I would eat it.
Oh, right.
So that's another thing. Um, but but sounds I don't think the sounds really affect me as much. Kind of my line of work requires me to listen to sounds, listen to music. So I don't think the sensory thing hits as much. But yeah, when it comes to, oh wait, I forgot. How could I forget the balloons, the sounds that balloons make when you rub them against one another. That sound makes me think the inside of my neck is itching. It's kind of weird. I don't know how to explain it, but it just ah I I don't thinking about it is making me feel weird now.
Joel, don't think about it.
No,
Yeah, well,
nothing.
thank you for saying that. Yeah, I think that's because as the author was saying too, it's hard to explain some of this stuff, but it pulls so much of his emotion to focus on that sensory issue, and there's this overload. And so you explained, with the sound of the balloon or of crowds, that you get kind of this sensory overload where you might get a weird feeling in your body or you might get irritated. And it sounds like there's this need to kind of escape, to get away from it, to make it stop. Is
It
it go ahead.
it feels like that. I remember I was in a battle like 3 years ago. I was in a battle. Yeah, it was 3 years ago. I was in a battle. It was a footwork battle. It was one that I won for. It was one that was thrown in honor of my friend. Rest in peace to Slex, first of all. Um,
Mm.
I won. I remember that entire night. Like I didn't after I went in for the rounds, I kind of went to the back of the venue, and because I just wanted to stay away from the crowd for a bit, just to get my thoughts together, just to concentrate. I so
Mhm.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That makes total sense. Yeah.
absolutely. And that you found a way to cope was to step out of that overstimulation. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
absolutely. How about you, Falashade? Did your daughter have sensory sensitivities to anything?
Yes. And well, she still does for some. Well, I think the one that was the most difficult that would really like get her going, wow, was when she used to have this very strong sensitivity to, I wouldn't say touch, but she didn't like to make mistakes, or like if she likes to draw, she likes to paint. So if while she's at it, for instance, if she's painting and then some of the paints, the colors she's using, like she's the one who's using the color, and if any of it should touch her fingers or any part of her skin, then she would like really explode.
Mm.
Or while she's drawing or painting, if she makes a mistake, like she already knows what she's trying to draw in her head, and if the picture doesn't come out quite like what she's expecting, that also like really gets her to go off. You understand? Because she's not
Mhm.
getting the results, on paper as it is in her head. So I think that was one that was really very difficult to support her with, because I mean, we don't know what's in her head that she's trying to draw. Even though, okay, when you see her drawing, you have an idea of what she's trying to draw, but you really, I mean, if there's a mistake, then she goes, and then I think then also was that when she makes those mistakes, like she doesn't want to continue drawing on that paper anymore. She wants another sheet. So sometimes, because she wants to get that perfect picture, she can go through like 5 to 10 sheets to get the result that she's trying to get, the picture in that she's trying to get, to paint out or draw. So that was a really difficult one at the time. So, but over time, we've just learned to let her see that it's okay to make mistakes. Like mistakes are normal. I mean, you will always make mistakes. Nothing is perfect. It took a while for her to understand that, like I explained earlier, where we had that, communication issue. So it took a while to be able to get her to understand that mistakes happen. And now, when it happens, yes, sometimes she'll still scream, but she might continue to paint on the same paper. You understand? Or she may just leave it, walk away, and then come back to it again and continue. Then, when it comes to sound, I think that with sound, I'll describe her as sensory seeking when it comes to sound, because she always likes to hear sound. She always wants to hear something, music, noise rhymes, whatever, but she always likes to hear sound. So if it's completely quiet, then she doesn't like it. So she's telling you to play something. And this also helps in a lot of ways. For instance, because when she's eating, for instance, and she wants to be hearing certain sounds in the background, I've realized that what it does is, before we used to be like, okay, maybe no tablets when you're eating so that you can just, finish the food. But I found out that what happens is that she wants that distraction. And I realized that when there's that distraction, she actually eats more, because the focus is not on the food, but on the music or whatever else is able to distract her. So she's not completely looking at the food to eat the food. And really, if it's helping her to eat, because I mean, if I've come from worrying for a really long time that she doesn't eat, and now she's eating only that she wants to be distracted, I mean, it's okay for her to be distracted and to be able to eat. So for sound, I think that is it. But that also then is a difficult one, because when it comes to sound, I have high sensitivity to sound myself.
Oh.
So that's where there's a problem, because she really wants the sound, like she's the volume high. I don't like it because it affects me. So I always try to find a way to balance. I mean, we don't have a balance yet with that one. So I always have to just tell her to please reduce the volume of whatever she's watching, if she has to be very close to me, or if we have to be within the same space. I mean, that's the only way. Or I get her to use headphones, or I have the headphones
Mhm.
myself. So that way nobody's noise is disturbing. I don't, my noise probably won't disturb her, because she likes to have sound, and in high volume she doesn't mind. But also if it is somebody else's sound, like as much as she likes sound, but if it's sudden, like if I have to blend something and use the blender, she's going to run off because she doesn't like that sound. So it also, so there's that. So she likes music, she likes rhymes, but she doesn't like sudden noises. So basically, um, then what else with sensory? Oh yes, skin. There are some clothes that I mean, she can't wear, or she wouldn't wear it. Maybe I should say wouldn't wear. And that one is quite understandable because we share that in common. I also have clothes that, I mean, fabrics, clothes made from certain fabrics that I cannot wear because it feels like pins and needles all over the body. So I can't wear some clothes. And so I don't know, I mean, no matter how lovely the clothes are. And one thing I have learned to do is that whenever I buy anything new for her, before we take out the tags, she has to wear it first. Does she like how it feels? So I can see how she reacts to it. So I know if I'm going to take it back to the store or not. And sometimes if you find something she really likes, this we do a lot with pajamas, then I probably am buying them in doubles, so that because she always wants to wear it
Mm-hmm.
again and again. There was a time that I had to buy exact same thing, clothes because she probably liked that pattern and that fabric. And if it is not that pattern and fabric, she doesn't want to wear any other thing to go to sleep. So that was then. But now she's older. She embraces a lot more diversity when it comes to prints and patterns. But with the fabric, there still is no compromise, and that is totally understandable because I know exactly how she feels if she doesn't want to wear certain fabric, and so
Thank
it's that.
you. Yeah. And I think the point that you're making too is this need to honor that and allow yourself or your daughter to not be subjected to something that's uncomfortable. And even the author was saying it, like it takes all of his attention versus, well, let's keep trying, you'll get used to it. I think the
Mm,
fact that you're honoring her and what she needs or the music she needs, and then the food issue with I have found with so many autistic kids that I've worked with that they do need that in order to eat. They need a distraction. They need to be watching something or playing with toys. And a lot of times parents will say, well, just focus on your food. But it doesn't work for a lot of those kids. And to be that flexible and just honoring her what she needs, I think you're doing awesome with her.
Wait, needing to watch something while eating food? I thought that was just something I thought that was actually like, wow, okay. I didn't know that was a thing because I always like every time I come in from eating from every time I come in from like practice and let's say I bought food, right? I would usually turn on the TV and then set up the food right there and just eat. Like I didn't know that was a thing that autistic kids did. I didn't because I didn't think anything of it until just now.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, it's also very common, I think, for people to do that as kind of a habit. But I think how Folashade was saying too, if there's too much focus on the food, her daughter's not eating. So I think it's at a
Mm,
different level.
okay.
Does that resonates with both of you? Yeah,
mhm.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Well, good. It's cool to have that insight, isn't it? To start putting together the pieces and how you are the way you are, and yeah, yeah. Bella, do you want to chime in or read some comments?
Yeah, there are a lot of parents who are talking about their children's sensory issues, but yeah, if you are watching us and you found something that really helped your child or helped yourself, please feel free to share with us. We are always learning, and of course, as a parent of an autistic child or as an autistic adult, they'll always be looking for a tip that might make a specific situation easier. So Claire says that I'm like that with sound and music. A lot of the time I need to listen to music or a podcast or something. Yeah, when you are actually, I'm talking now from my like music teacher point of view. Music, listening to something like a podcast which comes like a nice chat, positive vibes as well in the chat, and or to music. It just helps with other noise cancellations that are, you know, in the house, like the noise of the fridge, or, you know, of your computer or a printer, or lots of other noises that usually happen, you know, in the house, or, you know, something, the road works or anything, the neighbor doing something. That there are lots of noises in the house, and listening to something that is calming, like a music or a podcast, it's really helpful, from what I understood from like lots of autistic people. That last year I spent like most of the year doing interviews at least once a week with autistic adults or parents of autistic children, and they all shared this about, you know, music especially. So yeah, definitely it helps, and keep using it, you know, for various reasons within this overloading situations. Of course, if it works. Sudden noise, Lean is sharing with us, emotions learning content. My son's biggest sensory overload is sudden noise, so things like the sound has to be off when the TV is turned on, so the sound comes gradual, which makes sense. And video sharing with us, Arian has lots of sensory issues. You yeah, I'd love to hear more about that video, because I remember you talking about that, and I think I did a podcast on that as well. Yeah, and that's it, kind of the comments. I rely on my noise cancelling headphones. It benefits for me. Two benefits for me are the sound control and the security I feel from having the pressure on the headphones over my ears. Yes, that's something that really I've noticed that really helps autistic children, like in a busy environment. So you might want to use that, Chad, when you are meeting those busy people, when you said you are going in busy crowded places and so on. Yeah, definitely. They help. Oh, thank you, Mandy. I was just looking. Yeah, so that's
Funny
it from me.
thing. Funny thing. I was in a party like a couple weeks ago, and I actually realized how nervous, shy, introverted I was. Like, I feel like when I start dancing, everything, all the nervousness kind of goes away. But then I want to
Yeah.
be to myself after. But then I want to be to myself afterwards. Like literally after that, like after the initial attention thing is gone, then I'm like, okay, cool. I just want to stay to myself for a little while now. And then when my friends arrive, then then I'll be able to have a lot more fun, because I don't like going to parties by myself. It's just not a thing I do.
Yeah, I hear
And
that.
does anybody? I noticed. I heard something about patterns being mentioned. Um, fun fact about me is I have an obsession with trains. I've always had this obsession with trains since I was a child. I grew, I grew up in New York City. Well, I technically still here. I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. So I would always look at the subway map and fixate myself on all the lines and how far they would go. And then there were times where I did take adventures through the subway system when I was younger. But now when I look at it, like sometimes I'll look at the subway history. I'll look at how the train stations would look in different time periods, like the 1990s. Well, I already know about the 1990s, but the 1980s, 1970s. Looking at graffiti on the trains, looking at all the art pieces they used to do on that. Looking at how the trains, looking at how the trains were built, looking at how the stations were built, and just looking up the overall history of it all the time, knowing about the latest train models that they're building and stuff like that. I went to the transit museum. The transit museum was like it used to be a subway station back in like the 1930s, 40s, and 50s, but then they closed it down and then they brought it back as the museum in 1975. It's in Brooklyn, New York. It's
Wow.
yeah. I know a lot. I'm gonna stop there
And
because
that's been consistent. That's been consistent throughout your life, huh? That you've loved
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I would always look
Yeah,
at like
Mandy,
the train tracks and stuff. Like
the
I would stare at
lines.
the train tracks, like, yeah, the lines, all the lines,
Mm.
how they would intersect, all the switches and all that.
Yeah, Mandy says that you and her little boy would get along well. He loves trains too.
Oh,
And
I
my
actually had a
daughter.
train set.
Your daughter too.
I
But
actually
it's
had a
funny with
train set
her
once.
because she doesn't like the toy ones. She only likes the real ones. So I have to go to the train station every day to watch the trains.
Does she
For my
also
daughter,
like
it is
to
buses actually, not trains, interestingly.
does
So
does
what did you say, Flash?
Now, I was saying that my daughter, for her, it is buses that she's into. She loves buses.
Oh,
She liked
buses.
them from when she was a child. So, I mean, it was so easy to know what to get for her as a gift. Like, even at her daycare, when it was her birthdays, she was getting buses as gifts because it was so easy. That's what she was into. And, she would line them up. And, or she didn't like dolls, no teddies, no dolls. It was just the buses. And yes, she likes the real life buses too. So sometimes, even when we have to go out and we have to drive, and she'll tell me, no, she doesn't want us to go in the car. We have to go on the bus because she wants the bus experience and not the car. So sometimes we have that, you know, fight sometimes like, oh, no, we have to go in the car. But then she said, no, I want to go on the bus. And sometimes those are the issues.
Yes. Yeah, I'm
well
seeing
not
some comments come in. Bella, do you want to read those for us?
Yeah, Vidya says children with autism love trains. Ariel loved Thomas, the train. When he was younger, he used to look at his face. And Sarah says, I'm drawn to patterns too, bricks, windows, tiles, and pavements. That's one reason I look down when I'm walking. I count, walk, and touch the patterns I see. Yes, I'm with you on that, Sarah. I have someone who likes both, and that's his favorite pastime. Yes,
Mm.
autism spectrum mom. Ah.
Oh, well, and that's, I think when people refer to that term superpower, um, I read that the developer of Pokemon is autistic, and his special interest as a child was insects and all the different insects. And then it seems like he took that into making all these different Pokemon characters. So it's just interesting that that can turn into something, this lifelong.
you really shouldn't have mentioned Pokemon because I'm an original 150 guy myself. I grew up watching Pokemon. I had the cards. I used to play the games. Even to this day, I still, if I ever got access to the game, I still would play it. I had Pokemon Go on my phone. Like anything Pokemon, like I'm there. I actually have a picture of Pikachu that somebody drew for me in fourth grade, but it's kind of ripped now. Um, I love Pokemon. I didn't even know that the creator of Pocket Monsters was autistic. So to see that he named so many insects as the as some of the characters, separating them by grass type, water type, dark type, fire type, electric, like
Wow.
and poison even. What? That makes total sense. That just brings everything full circle now. Um um as far as the patterns, looking down on the sidewalk, seeing how many patterns are formed. Yo, that you see, this is why I guess joining the support group is the best decision I've made because now it's actually helped me to make sense of my own life. Now I have now like I look down on the street all the time when I walk. Mainly I thought it was just to avoid stepping in dog mess, but it was also to I don't know, I just I look ahead, then I look down, and look ahead and look down. It's always an up and down thing because I'm trying to concentrate on the patterns. I'm trying to concentrate on who's walking in front of me, and who's coming up behind me, or whatever. Like, it's a thing. In New York City, you have to be like aware at all times because crazy stuff happens. But
Yeah, that's an extra
but
layer that you've got.
yeah, but looking down at the sidewalk all the time, seeing the different lines and seeing some of the cracks and all of that, yeah, that just helped me make total sense of things just now. Wow.
Wow, that's awesome. Does it feel, because I know a lot of times special interests just bring a lot of joy. Is it ever a negative or feel stressful, or is it always a positive feeling when you're, looking at patterns or, into Pokemon, that kind of stuff, or trains?
It's it's kind of a freeing thing. It's a freeing thing, but it's something that but certain interests I keep intimate to myself because I don't think anybody would really understand why I'm into this stuff or
Mm-hmm.
how, but I know that the special interest that I've taken in these things has led me to be able to help in different areas. Like the special interest that I have in trains, that's actually helped me to foster my ability to read maps and be able to tell exactly
Mm-hmm.
where I am or which direction to go in. Like if I'm using a GPS or whatever. Um, Pokemon, because I know about the original 150 characters that they made, and then the others that they made over the years. Just as soon as I got my first copy of Pokemon Diamond when I was in high school playing Nintendo DS, my Nintendo DS Lite, rest in peace. That was one of my favorite handhelds. Um, it it actually I got reacclimated with the game. It was a much needed reunion because I made a foolish decision and traded my red and blue for I let somebody borrow my Pokemon Red and Blue, and he never gave it back.
Oh.
Wherever he is at, I hope he's doing well. But I want my red and blue, man. I don't think I'll be able to play red and blue until I get one of these new systems and play the remake version of it. But yeah,
Oh, all right. I hope you can.
Pokemon Pinball was
Folashade,
one of my favorite games though.
yes. Does your daughter's special interest, does it ever become a problem, or is it just a purely positive thing?
No, I really don't think so. I actually think it is positive because one thing that I know that it has also helped us to do is, it helps us to actually, like, those are also, there are times when she's probably having, I wouldn't say difficulty, but that it's difficult to get her to transition from one task to the other. So, I mean, those are the times it really comes in handy because it's so easy to be able to get her to go off, for instance, maybe her tablet or something else to transition into those special other interests that she has. So she's not just hyper focused on one thing, throughout the day. So I would say that it is positive actually, depending on, I mean, she's still a child, so depending on how you use
Mhm.
it, but I haven't seen it as anything negative, really.
Thank you. I just, a lot of kids in school, school is set up for this neurotypical brain where you're supposed to learn a little bit about a lot of things. And I think for autistic kids, sometimes that's kind of counter to how they learn, and that using their interests, um, can reduce a lot of frustration with education, and like you said, use it in a positive way. And um, I don't know, Bella, do you want to read?
Yes, that's true because it just what you just said now reminds me of when she was still she still had few words and I mean because she had the interest in buses, it was true that she learned colors, for instance, and other things that she needed to learn. It was simply putting the buses, using buses as, a tool to be able to use it to
Mm-hmm.
teach her whatever it is that you were trying to teach her at that time. And because buses were involved, she was willing to listen and learn. So I think it was one thing that we really, I mean, I'm saying we now because it was first how our developmental counselors idea where she would use the bus. Actually, the wheels on the bus is still, I think it is still her favorite nursery rhyme. So, using the wheels on the bus to teach her so many other things other than the original lyrics of Wheels on the Bus. So I think, yes, that's another place where it really comes in handy when you know your child's interest and find ways to use it to support their development.
That's wonderful. Bella, how about you? Do you want to? I know you have stuff to say about that and read some comments. And
No, it's just Autism Family Story. Yeah, it's focusing on special interests of children with autism can help to teach them so many skills. So it's exactly what you said, Folashade. It's so important to encourage their special interests. And then you've got, hi, Mackenzie. Chad, you have a Pokemon fan here. Claire said, that's so cool about the creator of Pokemon and link with insects. I love to draw and paint pictures of Pokemon. Wow, might be something I need to get into then. Yes, Jen, this is true, says actually autism. This was the issue with me at school. It was so difficult. If I wasn't interested in the subject, I found it so hard to learn. My dad was able to use my focused interest to help teach me. Yes, I agree with that. Yeah. I'm doing the same thing, probably what your dad did with you, actually autism, Sarah, because I'm making up spelling songs for to spell different words, making up timetables, songs, and anything you can think of to help my 7 and 8-year-olds that I'm seeing, and they're not interested, because not all autistic children, like the stereotype is, are good at maths, or I am seeing children that are autistic and not good at maths, so we made up a times table song. They learned it and they could do it, and the beauty is that they start singing it in the class, and apparently the whole class learned it. So it's helpful now to all the class. But yeah, it's tricky. It is tricky. And I just want to
you also shared with me that you make music videos for kids based on their interests, right?
Yeah, so some so what happens is that I do lots of sessions online, like Zoom meetings, but sometimes they don't work. A parent can't quite predict what will be the state of mind of the child every Friday at 5 p.m., whatever happened at school, what happened 5 minutes before my session, and then we just can't do the session, if they are not ready for it and they are not in the right frame of mind for it. It's different when they come to my studio, and if they had a meltdown in the car and so on, there are still things that I can do if they come to my studio, or I go to their car whilst it's parked by my house, by my studio. But on Zoom it doesn't work. So lots of my sessions are done with recorded videos that I send them through a secure link, and I talk to them in there. And because I'm making a 20 minutes video focused on whatever the child needs help with, if it's anxiety, worry, or boost speech and language, or turn taking, or things like that. And I'm using in that video absolutely everything they like, their favorite color, their favorite stims, their favorite, I don't know, anything, of course, all of the special interests. So and the parents are a bit suspicious in the beginning, how is this gonna work? And then I'm just asking them, if somebody made a movie for you or a video with everything you love in that video, would you like to watch it? And they say, yes. Would you watch it more than one time? Yeah. So the beauty with my videos is that they get watched like 3, 4, 5, or 20 times, some of them, in 1 week I'm talking about, because then the next week it's another video, of course. They go like in block of 6 at least, or 12. And so yeah, I'm using all of this, and it is like a whole sensory experience, because I'm asking them, come with this, come with the other one. We have spoons from the kitchen and lots of made up musical instruments that we are using, and it's a whole sensory experience. And contrary to the belief that autistic children or people hate loud noise, I've never had any complaints of big banging of the pan with the spoon, because they like that for whatever reason. So, yeah, I mean, I know what's the reason. It's secret. Yeah. I also find, oh, hi, Taffy. I also find when my son has sensory overload, my usual tone of voice agitates him. So I sing the request softly first, then add a beat, and he seems more compliant, of course. I think we were talking about that in the live when you came, Taffy, that when we try to talk, we don't quite use a perfect steady beat to help the brain organize itself. It comes in like that, because that's how we talk. We don't talk term, do it. And yeah, singing helps with that, definitely. You can sing in overload or before the overload, or to prevent a meltdown, or to recover from a meltdown, because music has that perfect beat that helps the neurons organize perfectly, instead of getting them disorganized like our speech might do. Hi, Zach. Nice to
That
see
makes me
you.
think of you, Chad, how music helps you so much. That's interesting what Bella was saying about the beat that helps your brain, probably, huh?
Sometimes I fixate myself with certain beat patterns. Like for
Yeah.
instance, Apache by Incredible Bongo Band, or or the last break that happens in Give It Up or Turn It Loose by James Brown. Like I'll fixate myself with with songs that contain samples of those patterns right there, like that.
Interesting.
And it kind of helps because I can actually match my steps to the beat and do, or what I should say, beat killing. Yeah, I love it. Anytime I can do that, anytime I can kill the beat, it helps a lot. It it gives me a sense of joy. Like then there's certain moves that I would do, like what I like to call the R&B slide. I don't know if you guys ever watched like R&B soul groups from like the 1970s or 1960s or 1970s or 1980s. Mainly the 1970s. They do these routines, and they do like a slide with it, like they spin around and then slide afterwards. I actually
Mm-hmm.
did that in a battle, and after I did that particular thing, whatever it was that I did afterwards, I did not care, because I accomplished the one thing that I wanted to do, and that was it. But yeah,
Oh,
killing certain beats is like one of my favorite things to do when it comes to dancing.
that's awesome. Thank you so much. I think we're probably running kind of close to the end.
Aw.
Um, do you guys want to make a final comment or wrap up with anything? Or it's just been such a joy to have both of you here. I love it.
Oh, well,
Okay.
got compliment Chad from Taffy. We love watching Chad dance. It's so mesmerizing.
Thank you. Thank you.
I did watch some short videos of you today as well, and yes, it was lovely to see you. You're a very good dancer.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so
Uh,
much. I started the journey mainly as a I started the journey. Part of it was losing some of the weight that I had gained over the course of the pandemic. Another part of it was, but the biggest part of it was getting back to work, like really getting back to doing what I love, which is the dance, And I felt like during the time when I took a break from dancing, I felt like I was ignoring a major piece of my identity that made me me.
Mhm.
So, I jumped back into it little by little. It was very, I would say that it was very hard to get back in. It was easy to execute certain steps, but there's a thing about moving, not doing, like getting rusty, not moving around how you usually move around, not
Mhm.
being able to hit my favorite beats, not being able to hit certain beats that I've listened to over the course of 10 years, or rather 15 years. It it really bothered me, I would say. And and then but I kept on going. I didn't want to give up on myself. I kept on going. I declared war on myself for like a whole year. I won.
You're
um,
persistent. Yes.
so what I would say would mean what I would say, just to keep it short, is if life as a autistic adult is not this bad thing that people who don't know about the autism spectrum make it out to be. It's not this huge. It's not a nightmare. It's not a, oh, my child's autistic. Oh, that's it. I can't do anything. No, it's not that. It's definitely not that at all. You know, if you're an autistic child, or you're an autistic adult, if you're an adult that has a child with autism, I would say don't give up on them. Try to nurture them as you would with any one of your other kids. But make sure that you honor their special interests, because their special interests can take them a long way, and support them as much as possible. You know.
I love that, Chad. That's so beautiful. Yeah, thank you so much. You're
You're
so
welcome.
right about it. And I think to me it's like understanding, like you got some insight today, and understanding that and connecting those, and this is how my brain works, and this is what I need, and this is what helps me, I think is really important too. And that's part of the reason why we're doing these and having amazing people like you to share with us. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And Folashade, I did remember something I did want to comment on, because that reminded me of the perfectionism you were talking about with your daughter, with the painting, and that you worked with her and talked to her about it's okay to make mistakes. And that's something I think that's really important, is to say things out loud that we might think are obvious. Like, of course it's okay to make mistakes, but that you really taught her that and helped her get that understanding and practiced it, so that she's becoming more accepting of that. So that was really a beautiful, something you shared that I want to emphasize.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
is there anything
Yeah.
you want to say to wrap up, Falashini?
I just say first, thank you for having me, for inviting me to this IG session. It's been an interesting conversation. And, it's also feel, I mean, it's a reminder again that you're actually not alone, like no experience is isolated to anybody, because, when you share and there's somebody else says, oh, my child is like that, or I am like that, it just reminds you that you're actually not isolated in this whole experience of either supporting the child or being autistic yourself. And, just to reiterate what Chad has said, as a parent, I'll just say that we should just, support our children in the best way that we can. Like I have mentioned earlier, that I really don't see anything that my daughter does as abnormal, or, because really, what is normal in the actual sense of
Right.
it? We are all different. So who is normal?
So
I'm not
true.
normal. So really,
That's
so
right.
I think it's just, I think for me, one of the things I like to say is that if I can support her enough to feel accepted in the home, to be her natural self in the home, then hopefully it can transcend to anywhere else that she finds herself. For me, that's the goal. If you want to stay, if you're comfortable doing it at home, then you can do it in school, you can do it anywhere, to be able to, self-regulate. So as long as she feels accepted, and supported in the house, that's the aim for me. And it's okay not to want to wear certain clothes. It's okay not to wear certain shoes. You know,
Mhm.
it's just okay to choose to be different, and everybody just has to adjust eventually. So that's it for me. And again, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, Folashade, you're bringing tears to my eyes. That was beautiful. Thank you so much. And Bella, do you want to read a few comments and wrap it up for us?
Yes. Taffy, thank you for being here. Taffy says, thank you all for the amazing live. There are so many aha moments. Folashade is so relatable as a parent. Bella and Jen, you rock. Yay! Love this life. Thank you everyone. Actually, autism, emotions learning content. Yeah, wonderful. Thank you so much, everyone. Mandy, yes, it's okay to be different. Yes. Like what
Yes.
we said. Thank you for another useful session. Thank you, Sarah, for joining us. And the video. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you,
Yes.
Bye.
everybody. Thank you for all your support in the
Oh,
audience, too. We appreciate it.
Yes,
Definitely
Chan?
get a fidget. Definitely get a fidget spinner. Definitely get one of those. It's one of the best inventions ever made in recent days, recent memory.
Get
Get a
get a
fidget
what?
spinner. A fidget spinner.
Oh, fidget spinner.
Ah,
Oh,
Okay.
Definitely get one of
Okay.
those.
Yay,
I'm
fidget
I'm
yes.
kind of
toys. All
agonizing right
right.
now because I can't find mine, but yeah, definitely get one of those.
Okay.
bye bye,
All right.
Thank
everyone.
you. We'll be
Bye,
back
Hi
next week,
everyone.
everyone.
everybody. Thank
Bye.
you.
Hi.
Bye.